Good afternoon, friends and visitors, and welcome back to the Ora News broadcast. It is 6 o'clock, and that means it's time for our English news edition, in which we have prepared a translated version of today's breaking news. There is breaking news today in the case of Arben Frroku. The Court of Serious Crimes has declared him innocent of all charges. Arben Frroku has been on trial for the murder of the Chief Commissioner, Dritan Lamai, on February 24th of 2013. Commissioner Lamai was murdered on that day only 100 meters away from his house. Frroku's lawyer claims that the court made a fair decision, but the prosecution disagrees. They have announced that they are going to appeal the not guilty verdict. The court came to the conclusion that the testimony of the primary witness in the case was false. According to the court, the witness was not at the crime scene at the time of the murder. The prosecution had requested life imprisonment for the brother of Mark Frroku, certain of his guilt in the murder. In the last session, Arben Frroku declared that he had no reason to murder Commissioner Lamai. The High Court has given the order that the MP Mark Frroku will be kept in prison in accordance with the request of the general prosecution. Frroku's lawyer has made the statement that the court's decision is unconstitutional. According to him, there is no evidence against Mr. Frroku. The lawyer says that the case will be appealed to the Constitutional Court. He said, "There is no evidence against my client. We will ask the Constitutional Court to review the decision and to declare it to be unconstitutional." The Parliament gave authorization for his arrest for one offense. They cannot add two other offenses to his charges because they do not have authorization to do so, said the lawyer. The court session was held behind closed doors and no media presence was allowed. Mark Frroku was arrested again yesterday after the Assembly gave their authorization. The prosecution requested his arrest because of an international warrant issued by the authorities of Belgium, who accused Frroku of murdering a man named Alexander Kurti in Belgium in 1999. The U.S. ambassador to Albania, Mr. Donald Liu, has spoken about the process of decriminalization. He said that all of the public institutions need to be decriminalized, including the courts. The ambassador encouraged the actions of the prosecutor general against Mark Frroku and Tom Doshi. "We value the actions that have been taken by the prosecutor general, the parliament, and the party leaders and others," he said. "It is important to continue the decriminalization process that began with the agreement between the parties in December. We continue to encourage all political parties in Albania to remove any individuals that are involved in criminal or corrupt activities. We applaud the actions of the prosecutor general for bringing charges against the two MPs. The ambassador said that corruption in Albania is a problem that needs to be addressed. I think that the people in Albania, the government, the businesses, and others would admit that there is a problem with corruption in Albania," he said. "It is a problem that needs to be addressed forcefully and systematically. When we think of corruption, we think of two different types: that of ordinary people paying to get services or being asked to pay for services or to get around the rules. The other type is high-level corruption. The current charges against members of the parliament are evidence that there is some progress in the idea that no one is untouchable, no one is above the law. We strongly support these efforts in politics, in the judiciary, in the public and private sectors, and everywhere that they exist." Mr. Liu was asked this question: "Where in other Western European countries does the embassy of a friendly state interfere in the internal affairs of that state?" He answered, "We are NATO allies. Your strengths are our strengths. We don't consider it to be interference. We consider it to be support for Albania's efforts to build a stronger nation. It's the act of a good friend and a strong ally, and in the same turn, we hope that when we need your support, Albanians will be honest with us about our society and our shortcomings." Today marks the 6th anniversary of Albania's membership in NATO, and Prime Minister Ilir Rama spoke at a special ceremony honoring the accomplishment. "We are part of a unique alliance of freedom," he said. "We are grateful to the other NATO member countries. Albanians will always be grateful to NATO, which created conditions for a new situation of peace. Albania deserves its place in NATO," said Rama. The American ambassador, Donald Lu, made the comment that although Albania is a small country, it is the most enthusiastic of the NATO alliance. During the ceremony, the U.S. ambassador recalled that back in 2009, everyone was skeptical about Albania's ability to contribute to NATO. Today, he said, there is no more doubt. Mr. Lu congratulated Albania for their commitment to NATO and called them the most enthusiastic country in the alliance. The Assembly Speaker paid a visit to Shkoder today to offer his support to the SMI candidate for mayor. The Assembly Speaker and the SMI candidate, Keti Bajdari, appeared together at the opening ceremony of a new manufacturing business. Together, Mr. Meta presented the candidate to the other members of the Socialist Movement for Integration. The representatives of the Socialist Party and the SMI gave their assurance that a better future is coming for Shkoder. They expressed their conviction that Bajdari will win the elections. Mr. Meta had this to say in his speech: "Shkoder deserves a real change, and the symbol of this change will be a lady who knows how to build success. I am very satisfied with her selection because she will not use the power for her personal interests. She has a dream and a mission for Shkoder, and I know that she will bring honor to the city," he said. Prime Minister Rama held a meeting today with the head of the New Democratic Spirit Party, Arben Frroku, to discuss the possibility of forming an alliance for the local elections. They did not come to an agreement today, but they have declared that the negotiations will continue. There was evidence that there may have been some disagreement between them in the meeting, but they have both expressed willingness to meet again on the issue. Mr. Rama had this to say: "We are aware that this is a special case because they are a right-wing party. Still, we believe that there is room for negotiations between us. The experiences of other countries clearly show us that there can be cooperation in the local elections, even among parties from opposing positions." It was a very open and direct conversation. We could not avoid discussing some of our different points of view about politics today, but we were also able to identify common points of concern that require building constructive policy together, said Mr. Rama. Mr. Topi shared his willingness to cooperate, and he made the corrective statement that his party is not, in fact, right-wing. He said, "The New Democratic Spirit Party is a left-wing party. We see with regret that the administration of the local government has been problematic. We are willing to communicate and to cooperate to improve it. There's nothing wrong with creating alliances in the local government. This was the first meeting between us, and we presented our main issues and principles. Of course, there will be other meetings," said Mr. Topi. The Democratic Party has also begun negotiating with their allies for the upcoming local elections. Today they will meet with representatives of the Republican Party. The meeting lasted about an hour. They met with them already. And afterward, the vice chairman of the Republican Party said that they presented a document containing all of their requests. The Democratic Party has asked for some time to review the document before giving an answer. The vice chairman said that there will be another round of dialogue with the Democrats and that the Republican Party will make their stance known after the document is reviewed. He announced that they have put 13 candidates forward for the local governmental elections. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all our news for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us again at the same time tomorrow for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.